The Salvation Army's mission is to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and meet human needs in His name without discrimination. And we do that through a variety of programs, but we're really proud of the way we've adapted to the needs of this community through our Home Sweet Home program, which takes people and puts them in their own homes, which enables them to thrive as a family.
The Home Sweet Home program is an awesome program that we offer in Gwinnett County to our residents. They must meet the guidelines, which means we meet with and do assessments and screenings on homeless walk-ins that come into the office for assistance, and we screen them and we try to get them into permanent housing.
Research has shown that getting into a shelter, no matter how much income you have and how much work experience you have, can cause you to become kind of stuck because of the stigma of living in a shelter. Having your own apartment with your own address really just helps you recover more quickly. It's also the fact that the Salvation Army has such a depth and breadth of services available to families that we can make available to them that help them recover their stability.
The housing crisis that basically started around 2008 or so created problems for us in that since I was working for a nonprofit at a church, the donation income plummeted.
With my husband's health condition, he had congestive heart failure, and the doctor said his heart was enlarged and he wasn't able to work any longer.
The resources that we had saved up and resources that we had banked away and invested over the years gradually diminished until they were completely gone.
When we got to the point where we realized that we were using the last of our available resources for that day and there would be nothing left for tomorrow, and we didn't have a place to stay and we didn't have dinner, and of course my immediate thought goes to my son, because as a parent the whole thing just seemed to me to be so unfair to him that he had to go through this. We had two other daughters and they were really well taken care of, and he was struggling with us through this, and I just didn't really want him to do that. And the idea of putting him in a car and us having to sleep in the car for that night, the next night, it's just something I just really didn't want to face. Found plenty of shelters that would take my son and myself, a mother and a child. I could not find a shelter or a place that would take us all as a family. And we were determined we were going to stay together as a family. And like I said, I called a helpline that I received, and it gave me referred me to the Salvation Army.
Everyone that we have encountered in the program, as far as the administrators, the people there at Salvation Army, everyone has worked and treated us in such a way as to maintain dignity. There has never been a time when I felt like anyone was looking down on, and that is so good. Some of the things that I do in the Home Sweet Home program include going to financial peace classes, arts and music programs that are going on as another outreach effort that Salvation Army there at Sugarloaf is doing. And because we're in the Home Sweet Home program, they offered the opportunity for us to get our son involved in some of those. And so he was able to take advantage of that. He's taking piano lessons now.
Well, at Salvation Army now, where I'm into their programs, their Wednesday night program with the youth, and the Tuesday night program with learning how to play piano, I've really been welcomed in by Rob and his group. They made it where I was just another kid. I wasn't another case that they had to deal with.
He absolutely loves Brookwood. He's doing really well there. Bradley likes Latin, and he's in the Latin club, and he maintains like an AB average in the Latin classes. I can't say this without getting choked up, but the plight of the homeless in the United States is very real. People, middle class, are becoming homeless now, and it's growing. It just keeps getting worse and worse instead of better, and I have absolutely no idea where we would be right now if it were not for the Salvation Army.
The fact that we don't have a shelter sometimes is hard because it's easier for me to raise money for a shelter because I could take a donor through and walk them to the shelter and say, hey, this room costs $10,000 a year to run. And maybe I could get somebody to help make a donation that way. Instead, though, we've taken the perspective and we've taken the approach toward this ministry where we are putting people in their own homes so they have ownership in that place, and after they're done with our program they'll stay in that home if that's what they want to do, and that gives them power because this belongs to them. For instance, the Moores, Laura was telling me that the very first night that they had their apartment and they had it all set up and it was all there, we actually hadn't been able to help them get their furniture into that apartment, and we had another place set up for them to stay where they have a bed and everything, but they were so excited to get into that house because it was theirs that they actually wanted to sleep on the floor just because it was theirs. Now eventually they have a very nice bed and all the furniture they need, but just shows you the power that can come with putting people in their own homes. It's amazing to me that God has put us in a place where somebody can come to us and they don't know where they're going to sleep tonight. They don't know where their next meal is going to come from. And somehow, through God's grace, we're able to provide them with resources so that they can be thriving just like the Moores. It's amazing to me. It's amazing that God has given us this opportunity to enter into people's lives and help them stand up in His name.
Had it not been for the Salvation Army, we probably would have imploded.
And even the stress of it in reference to Frederick's health, I don't think he would be here with his particular health conditions had it not been for the Salvation Army. It was very stressful, and he would not have been able to survive. We needed help. We desperately needed help.